Yo, what's up? What's up? It's the Hungry Millennial back again with yet another Proactive Pragmatism. On this week's Proactive Pragmatism, I'd like to talk to you about failure and how I want you to fail now. How every time that I decide that I'm going to go all in and I fail, I learn, and how you can fail and learn. So here are 3 tenets: go and fail. Hold yourself accountable. Fall in love with the L, because when you go and fail, you pick up all of the tools that you need to be successful. And these tools are invaluable because a lot of the peers that you see right now that are currently experiencing a lot of successes, A, either learn from failure, or B, when they hit some type of adversity or they hit some type of failure, their world comes crumbling down around them. And you can learn from other people's failures as well. And so when you fail, you want to fail at playing your game. You don't have to play everybody else's game. I know you see the Instagram posts. I know you see the Facebook posts. I know you see, people on Snapchat living it up. But when you're playing your game, say for instance, you're not working a job right now. You're getting unemployment because the wages are where they are. Now I want you to take that same energy, and even if you are working a full-time job, start putting a little bit of that money away, pay yourself first, and follow your passion, because you can do both at the same time. There's been this rumor mill of, entrepreneurship. Quit your job, go be an entrepreneur, and do all of those things. That's all great and dandy until you need work experience, to pay the bills to get by, right? The truth is you can do both. And as the faster we start doing both, the faster we can get to our goals and our dreams. And maybe it's not the millionaire Lambo on Instagram. There are studies that show once you get to 6 figures that your happiness doesn't necessarily improve. 6 figures is a good amount of money, especially if you keep your bills low. So find the balance in between who you are and who you want to be. Take all of those L's. Another thing that, I've always struggled with this. You can ask people about little me, when I was a little boy, when I was a little kid, things like that. I've always struggled with holding myself accountable. And so now as an adult, I have to hold myself accountable by coming up with an effective plan, right? So with the podcast, the series Millennials Are, one thing that I enjoy doing is I send out an after action feedback survey so I can figure out how I can get better. And it's extremely humbling because it's like I have to look the failure in the face, because the feedback, it doesn't even have people's names on it, And so one very critical piece of feedback that I got a few weeks ago in a podcast I haven't released yet is be more focused. Dig deeper into, hey, I'm going to cover these questions. But as soon as I started implementing that feedback from that failure that I had, because everybody hates that F word, when I started implementing that feedback from that failure, I started to achieve more success and more of a rounded conversation in my Millennials Are podcast. And I can send it out ahead of time. So that way, when I actually do, have the podcast, they're not, there's not like a shot in the dark, because we're using technology. We're not doing a lot of things face to face. So when it comes to using technology, there are a bunch of different challenges. And so you have to hold yourself accountable. Ask yourself, are there things that I could be doing in my life that are going to make my life slightly easier? For me, going to the gym, it puts extra stress on my life and on where I am today. So that way, the small things that come up, come flying at me out of nowhere, left field, right field, because, life is just, it can be very unpredictable at times. I could just take it on the chest like, okay, okay, boom, okay, we got that going on. You know what? I didn't have more stress, more progressive overload on my body than this. And if I could get through those things, if I can bike back and forth to work, if I can go for a run, if I can go for a jog, if I can manage, delivering, 140 different stops of 300 packages, when you put those L's in your way, like everything else is like, that ain't nothing, dog. We can get through this. And, when you start looking at those L's, you start learning how to succeed. I think a lot of people look for like 1 through 10 lessons for success. And in that process, they lose themselves because they're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, when they could find those lessons for success in the failure, small, minute failures. I ain't saying go put all your money in Bitcoin. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people are paying for those type of, financial risks there. But I mean, if you can afford that risk, cool. But I'm more of I'm more along the lines of, I want financial freedom to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do it. So that way, if somebody is stressing me out about doing this or that, I can say no, because I am not a slave to the dollar, right? And I got to speak on this a little bit. If you're investing in a cryptocurrency and you're behind on your bills, you're wrong. I'm sorry. Like, anything that can zoom you into an overnight success, 9 times out of 10, it's not as good as you think it is. I had some homeboys back in the day, they got into the drug game, they got into, the street life. And the thing is they was making easy, fast money, but my pops was like, nah, you ain't doing that, son. Nah, that's not how we get down. My sisters, I got a lot of sisters. They was like, nah, we won't do that around here. Go ahead, take your butt up there, dribble that basketball. You might not be number 1 on the team, but we're going to be screaming for you, on the Tuesday, Wednesday night games, right? They kept me on the long path. And when you play the long game will take care of you. So you have to play the long game. And a part of playing that long game is holding yourself accountable to, staying on task, doing what you need to do, changing, the small things in your life. Like, this is toxic for me, so I'm not going to move like that no more. I'm moving in a different, more positive way that's going to add value to other people, right? Because once you start adding value to other people, value comes back to you. And then thirdly, I want you to fall in love with the L. So Jameis Winston, NFL quarterback, he played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, way before Tom took over, different things like that. He used to have this little thing where he was like kissing the W or whatnot. What you want to do is you want to fall in love with that L, just like you fall in love with that W, and when you fall in love with the L, you can only go up from there. And I'm not talking about in a depressive way. I'm not talking about in an anxious way. I'm not talking about looking for the negative in everything. I'm talking about conditioning yourself to accept the loss and to use it to plan. So many times, like in the military, I've learned more and I've succeeded in a lot of ways that people didn't expect me to succeed in my platoons and my organizations, because we looked at the L and I was like, you know what? I went and talked to my platoon sergeant. I went and talked to my squad leader. I went and talked to, when I was a cadet, I went to, talk to, other officers. And even though I didn't want to hear how I had failed and how it sucked and how bad I was at whatever it was, every time that I took that feedback, I learned something and I became better because of it. And a lot of times you don't know the L's that you're holding right now could be the W's that you need later. But if you don't go get those L's, you're not going to have those W's. And so you take the wins and the losses and you turn those into something else. In high school, I was horrible at baseball. I was horrible at a lot of sports, but because I had the humility to just sit there, and process it. Back in the day, this was at least 10 years ago. I was on the baseball team. Me and my homeboy, shout out to Seth, always be my homie. We was trash at baseball, but we just had that little bit of muster to keep going to practice. I would walk across town, 3, 4 miles to practice every day. Shout out to Coach Hanky, he used to give me a ride, but it was those people that invested in us when we was taking those L's, even when they kicked us off the team, because we did fall asleep on the bench. I can take accountability for that. You know what I'm saying? But we were kids, but you learn the lessons along the way. Even through our failure, those people that held us down through our failures, because they saw that resilience that we had through our L's. They saw our resilience and like, this person right here, there's something in this person, and it may not evolve right now. It might not pop out of you right now, but there's something in you that's going to turn you into greatness. So all this opportunity that you have right now, you getting the checks for the kids, you're getting all these different things. Use those L's that seem like L's and take that and make it play your game, play to your strengths. If you're good at coloring, if you're good at drawing, if you're good at woodworking, if you're good at talking to people, if you're good at sales, if you're good at all of these different things or some of those things, try to go into a place of mastery. Don't quit. Keep going, keep evolving, keep changing, because those are going to be the tools. Maybe they don't make you successful, but maybe they make an organization that you're going to get paid 6 figures down the road for successful. But we also have to take our L's gracefully. Take that L, take it gracefully, take it on the chin, breathe, keep walking, keep moving your legs. You know, there was a quote that I reposted on the Proactive Pragmatism page. It said, you know, it's just a bad day, not a bad life. So hold those L's, learn and grow, and keep being great. So we're carrying on with our series, Millennials Are. We got a bunch of great millennials coming up. If you want to be on the podcast, let me know. Hit us up at PROPRAG20@gmail.com. That is ProPrag20@gmail.com. I appreciate you guys. Stay hungry, keep grinding, do what you need to do, right? Stay in the race and embrace that L. Play your game. Hungry Millennial out. Thank you.